Hi guys, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. It's Monday night. Tonight we are going to do some hip openers and some heart openers. So a little bit of back bending as well, but we'll mostly be focusing on the hips tonight. And you may need a block or a bolster if you have one. You can also use some throw pillows or some bed pillows if you have a couple. Those can substitute as a bolster if you don't have one, just for the end and doing some restorative poses. So if you have those, go ahead, grab them. Otherwise, you just need yourself and a mat, and that's about it. So we'll get started in on the knees, in the knees position, in hero's position. So come on to your mat. So sitting on the heels, you can also prop a block or two underneath your seat and sit here if this bothers your knees, sitting in that much flexion. So it just kind of depends on what feels comfortable for you. Placing the hands on top of the knees, palms face down, we're just going to round the spine to start. Tuck the chin in, tuck the tailbone under, and then we're going to extend the spine. So lift your chin up and draw your shoulder blades back. Exhale, round the spine, and inhale, extend. So we're just working with your breath here, getting the spine a little more mobile. I'm also stretching the fronts of the thighs out here. Okay, so we're going to get the shoulders and back a little more activated in this position. So taking the hands behind your head, elbows wide, I'll face this way. Still in the same hero's position. So we're going to come back into a arch your back, and then you're going to exhale, fold forward, round your spine without pulling on the neck. And then inhale, so as you're inhaling back into that arch, you want to draw the shoulder blades down but together. And then exhale, pull the elbows down, rounding the spine. So keep flowing here. Try to bring the elbows nice and wide, and then close in. Elbows nice and wide, lift up, and then exhale, draw in. One more time, inhale, lift, and then exhale. Okay, and then come back to neutral spine. Do a twist over to the right side, left hand on the outside of the right knee, and then the right hand just comes back behind you for some support. Look over your right shoulder. And then release, go to the other side. And then come back to center. Okay, we're gonna come forward into tabletop position from there. Hands underneath your shoulders and knees underneath your hips. So rounding the spine, again, some cow-cat action here. Inhale, exhale, and inhale. Move around circle motion. Pick a direction to move into. Start bending into your elbows. Switch the direction. Keep the lungs open. Really try to loosen up those shoulders. Back to center. Come back to tabletop position and stretch your right leg back behind you. Lift it up. And then take your left arm forward. Reaching through the arm and reaching through the leg. Bring the elbow to the knee, knee to elbow, stretch away. Bring it in, exhale, inhale, reach away. Exhale, round the spine, and inhale, and then bring the left hand down, swing the right leg out to the right, reach up with your right arm, breathing open, twisting open here. Release the hand down. I'm just going to spin so we're facing this way. Walk over to your foot, bow to your right knee. Come back to center, walk forward, and drop the head down. Maybe touching the floor, maybe just hovering above the floor. Outer edge of the right foot pressing into the floor. One more breath here. And then releasing. Walk up. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Bring your knee back in. And then we'll switch sides. So that left leg is reaching back and your right arm is reaching forward. So just finding your balance here to start with, getting lots of length in through the arm and through the leg. And then bring the elbow into the knee. Inhale, reach away. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, reach. Exhale. And inhale one more time, and then bring the right hand down, swing the left leg out to the left, and lift your left arm up to the ceiling and twist open. Okay, deep breathing here. And release that hand down to the floor, walk forward, and stretch it up. Pull the hips back. And then lifting back up, bring your hands underneath your shoulders and bring that left knee back in. Oh, sorry, we're going to walk over to the left leg and bow to the knee first. Not so fast. So pressing through the outer edge, I'm reaching towards the foot and I'm actually pushing with my hands down to that outer edge of the foot. So I'm feeling the stretching through the outer ankle a little more intensely. All right, and then releasing, so walking back, and then bring your left knee back in. Round the spine, and inhale, release the spine. Come back to neutral spine. Walk your hands forward, tuck your toes, and lift up into downward facing dog. Walk the feet out, bending the right knee, left knee. Moving the hips side to side if that feels good. Reaching your right leg back behind you, just stretch it back into the air, doesn't matter how high, and down. And then left leg, do the same, reaching back, and then down. Look forward at your hands and step up to them. Forward fold at the top of your mat, dropping the head. All right, and then come back to center, rise up all the way, reaching up to the ceiling, inhale, and then exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up all the way. Reaching up. Exhale, bring it all the way down. Inhale, halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, rise up all the way. Okay, bring the hands to your heart and then reach your arms in front of you. Turn your palms out to the sides here and then cross your right hand over your left hand, right wrist over your left wrist, so palms are together. Now we're gonna lift the arms back overhead. So if you can only reach in front of your face, that's fine, because if you have tight shoulders, it may be hard for you to get arms alongside the ears. So that's fine if you are here. So just do the best you can. You can try and bend or straighten your arms as best you can, but try to straighten your arms. So we're going to lean over to the right side, and you're trying to press the palms together. And then come back to center, and then go over to the other side. And try to keep pressing the palms together as you're doing this. Just breathing deep there. And then come back to center, and then lower the arms, and then release your arms. Just spread your arms out nice and wide, and then bring them down. Sweep up, inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart, and then reach your arms out in front of you. Flip your palms so they're facing out, and then take the left wrist over top of the right wrist. Palms facing each other, push the hands together, and lift your arms. And then over to the right side again. And then come back to center, and then over to the other side. So meanwhile, you're just also paying attention to your feet, so you're noticing your toes. Try to even out that space under your feet. So you're pressing down through all four corners of your feet, grounding down. And then coming back to center, and then lower and open. Deep breath in, and then exhale down. Inhale, sweep arms above your head, and then just open and fold forward. So hinging at the waist there. Halfway lift, inhale, and then exhale, hands to the floor. Step your right foot back. Drop your right knee down to the floor. We're just going to keep the hands onto the floor here and lift the chest forward, and think about drawing the shoulder blades down to your back pockets here. Breathe deep. So in this kind of runner's lunge, so my back toes are tucked under, and I'm almost like I'm trying to pull my knee up off the floor, but I'm pushing through my back heel, and my knee is still touching the floor. Keep breathing here. One more deep breath in. All right, so we're gonna pick it up and step back into plank pose. Lowering through chaturanga. So lifting into up dog or cobra, and then come back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward in between your hands, and then same thing on this side. So my back knee is just going to remain on the floor. I'm gonna try to draw the shoulder blades down my back, looking forward. Breathing, and then begin pushing, kind of dig your left toes into the mat and reach out through your heel at the same time. So this leg, this hip kind of feels more activated by you pushing through your back heel. So you should feel a little more intensity with that activation there. And also the weight of your upper body just kind of resting up against your front thigh here should feel a little more intense in the hips. Okay, and then we're going to just step forward. So you go ahead and lift that back knee, and then shift your weight. Step forward, halfway lift, inhale, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up, inhale, exhale, hands to the heart, clasp your fingers, press down. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, take the hands back behind you, clasp behind you, and pull back. We're gonna hold this. So again, just getting those shoulders and shoulder blades sliding down your back and activating those muscles, traps as well. Chin just slightly tucked in. Breathing deep. So I'm not trying to arch back or do anything weird in my low back here. I'm trying to be as straight up and down as I can, but you are going to feel that extension through the spine. But I don't want you to be kind of pushing your hips way forward and going into a back bend. And we want to focus on the shoulders here and upper back. Okay, take another deep breath in, and then release your hands. Reach up, inhale, and then exhale, open up your arms and just swan dive down. Halfway lift, Inhale, exhale, hands to the floor, step your left foot back, left knee down to the floor. This time take your arms up to the sky, reaching one breath, exhale, hands down, step back into plank, and lower through chaturanga, to up dog or cobra, and then come back into downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward, right knee down, inhale, lift the arms, exhale, hands down to the floor, step forward to the top, inhale halfway, exhale, fold, inhale, rise up all the way. Hands to the heart, clasp your fingers, press down, inhale, lift the arm, exhale, take the hands back behind you, clasp them, pull back, look up, and now exhale, bow forward and hold here. So I'm bowing forward with straight legs, but you can bend your knees if you want to. Try to relax your facial muscles. Breathing deep. If this is too much to lift your arms straight up, then your hands more just kind of rest on your low back, but you're trying to activate those shoulders again. So just going to whatever range of motion is possible for you. Should feel this in the hamstrings and shoulders. Now lifting, a little more activation, pull up through the arms, lift your whole body up. Lift the arms up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, open up wide and fold forward. Inhale halfway, exhale, hands to the floor, and step your right foot back, drop your right knee down to the floor, and take your arms up to the sky. Okay, twist to the left side, take your right arm forward, and your left arm back, reaching through the arms, breathing deep. Take that right hand down to the floor and then lift your back knee or your right knee up off the floor here. So left arm reaching, maybe looking up at the ceiling here. If it's too much to look up at, then just go ahead and gaze down. And you can also, by the way, you can keep that back knee on the floor if it's too much for you as well. You're just trying to get this pose a little more active. Reach through the heel no matter what. If your knee is up or down. Holding the left shoulder back, really breathing into that space. Okay, take your left hand down to the floor, step back into plank pose and lower through chaturanga, lift into up dog or cobra, and then come back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, left knee down to the floor, and reach up through the arms. So let's twist to the right side. Left arm forward, right arm back, reaching through the arms. Lifting up through the head, breathing, dropping the shoulders down and back. Okay, plant the left hand down to the floor, reach your left knee up off the floor, so squeezing the left leg as straight as you can here, reaching through that left heel. Think about the right hip also kind of pulling back as you're twisting here. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. All right, take your right hand down to the floor, step back into plank pose, lower through chaturanga. So go ahead and lift into up dog or cobra, and then bring the belly onto the floor. So we'll just do a few rounds of cobra here, actively pressing up. Inhale, so you can go kind of little cobra, or you can go full extension through the arms if you want, and then releasing down. So with your inhale, you're lifting, and with your exhale, you're lowering. Inhale, really try to draw the shoulders back and down. So I don't want you to kind of do this, I'll kind of face you, do this. So your shoulders way up into your ears. That likely means that you've gone too far. So I want you to just go a little ways and practice pulling the shoulders down and back. So you can do that by lowering down, roll your shoulders, first set them down on your back, and then lift up a little ways. Okay, I don't want this to be all crunchy and uncomfortable in the back. You want to open up the chest as best as you can. Keep moving. Inhales and exhales. Let's just do one more. Inhale, And now press up, so your hands and knees, and then bring your knees wide and just slide back into child's pose. So deep breaths out, you're pulling the hips back. On your inhale, you're rising back up. Let's come up all the way to downward facing dog again. Walk it out. On your inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. Bend into the knee and see if you can open up that hip a little bit more. Maybe looking underneath your right armpit. And looking back onto the floor. So you're coming out of that rotation. Now step forward with your right foot up to your hands and drop your back heel onto the floor. So let's come up into warrior one position, facing forward. Open up to warrior two. And come back into reverse warrior. And then drop down into extended side angle. So bringing your hand on the inside part of your right foot down to the floor. If that's not available, then you're just coming up halfway, elbow on top of the thigh. Binding or half binding if you like, so you can take that left arm, left hand back behind you on your low back, or full binding, grabbing your hand underneath your leg there, and binding. So pulling that right shoulder or left shoulder back here as you're doing that. Releasing. Now bring the hands onto the inside part of that right foot and walk your right foot out to the right and just staying in this high lizard lunge. If you absolutely need to, then you're dropping your left knee down to the floor, but otherwise you're staying here holding this high lizard lunge. Breathing into it. Another deep breath in. And then we're going to take it back and into a side plank pose position. So we're going to take that left leg or right leg back, and then we're going to take that right leg over top of the left leg and go into a wild thing position. So left leg is straight, the right knee is bent, and then I'm going to push through the right foot to pop my hip up, and then still kind of in a side plank. So I'm looking to the left, pulling my bottom shoulder under, and then taking it all the way over back to plank pose and lowering through chaturanga, taking into up dog or cobra, and then back into downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up into the air, bend into the knee, open the hip, maybe looking underneath your left armpit for this one. Make sure the fingers are spread nice and wide, so really pushing back the weight back into the leg. All right, and then close it, and then you're stepping forward with the left foot. Drop your right heel to the floor, and reach up with both arms here for warrior one position. To warrior two position, reaching out through the arms. Breathing. All right, going into extended side angle. So halfway down or all the way down, the right arm's reaching up to the ceiling. Binding or half binding, if you feel warm enough. So releasing from here, bringing the hands on the inside part of that left foot. Walk the left foot out to the left, so you're in the high lunge position. So active through the right leg, reaching out through the heel. Take another deep breath in and out here, going into the wild thing position next. Okay, so we're going to pick it up, lift the left leg back, and then over top of the right leg, spinning to the left side. Now pushing through the left foot to pop that left hip up, and then I'm facing the right side. So still a side plank position, kind of a blend of the back bend and the side plank, because you're kind of open through the hips here, a little more open through the hips. Keep pulling that bottom shoulder under, take another deep breath in, and then releasing. Float back to the plank pose, lower through chaturanga. Take it into up dog or cobra, and then take your rest. Come to child's resting pose, stretch it back. On your next inhale, let's lift back up. Come up all the way into downward facing dog. Right away, lift your right leg up into the air again. Bend into your right knee. Okay, this time doing circles in the air with your knee. So bring the knee down, and then out to the right, and then up, down, up to the right, and up. One more time, big circle, and then step forward into warrior one again. Reaching up through warrior one, reaching out to warrior two pose, come back into reverse warrior. Breathing here. Come back to warrior two position, take the hands back behind you, clasping, and pull back. So we're going to humble warrior, but this time we're going to bow to the center of the mat, still in the inside part of that right leg. So bowing the head down. Try to keep steady through the legs. Try to resist the urge for that right knee to pull in and collapse in. Keep the right knee pointing straight forward. Okay, and then now we're just going to stay forward folding, but then we're going to pull into that right knee, head, ear close to the right knee, so we're more looking forward, heads pointing forward, and then we're going to rise up from there. And then reaching up through warrior one, come out to warrior two, straighten through the front leg, come back into a reverse warrior. So a big deep breath in, and then take all that space and go with Trikonasana. Full Trikonasana, reaching forward, and then dropping your right hand down to the shin, the foot, or touching the floor. Lifting through that left arm here. Rolling the left shoulder back. Squeezing the legs straight. Think about pulling the inner thighs in towards each other as you're doing this. From here, we're going to slowly rise up. Engage your core muscles as you're doing this. Coming back into that reverse Trikonasana. Go into warrior two position, and then face forward into warrior one position. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale. Bring the hands down to the floor in front of you. We're going to hop up. Kick up through the left leg. So find standing split position, and then we're going to go right to half moon. The left arm is going to reach up. Bring your hand onto your hip or up to the ceiling. So once you've found your ground, and again, you can use props, blocks if you want to. You can also try and practice holding or hovering your hand like I'm doing just above the floor and just doing that one-legged half moon. Very tricky to do, especially if you're going to look up. I have to look down to hold that position in the one-legged position. But if your hands are to the floor and you just want to do the regular half moon full version, then you're eventually just trying to look up and kick out through your left leg, kick out through your right arm, and then we'll close it all in. So feel your left hip drop there, and then step back. Drop your right knee, left knee down to the floor, and then straighten out through your right leg. So you're gonna be back to your half monkey position, and then moving forward. We're gonna pull it back again, toes reach back, foot flex, and then come forward. One more time, pulling back, and then reaching forward. This time pulling back and holding. Your options are just to stay in this half position. Maybe you're using blocks, maybe you're propped up a little bit more than I am. That's fine, you can have a block on each side. If you want to go a little bit further into the fuller version, somewhere in between the half and full, that's fine. So reaching your right leg forward, and then your back toes can be tucked under or untucked, whatever is going to feel more comfortable for you. You can stay propped up here with blocks. I'm just using my hands. I'm not going into a full version, but I'm going into the deepest version I can do at this moment, and just holding. And again, if you feel like there's any pain, there's going to be discomfort for sure, because the hamstrings are pretty tight on most people and does take a while for them to relax. So there's going to be discomfort, but as long as there's no pain, then you are good to go and you don't have any injuries. But then you can also back off into the half monkey version as well. So we're just going to take a few more moments here. Deep breaths in and out. If you're in the fuller version, then the best way to get out of that is your back toes tucked under, and you're going to walk your back knee forward. So just shift that forward, and then you can drag your front heel back towards you. So you're going to just end up back in a lunge position, bending into your front knee. Then we're going to step back, and we're going to go back into that wild thing position. So we're going to take that right leg up into the air, and then step it over to the left and spin. Push through your right foot, kick up through your heel, or kick up through your hip, and reach up and around your arm. My top arm, my right arm is just kind of across the side of my head here, kind of passively reaching down to the floor. Breathing, my bottom shoulder is activated, though I'm pulling my bottom shoulder, my bottom rib cage in and up to support myself. Then I'm going to float around, come back into the plank pose, lower through chaturanga. So we're taking it into the up dog. You can inhale, and then you're going to exhale back into downward facing dog. Pedal it out, breathe it out. Right away, going to the other side, do that left leg, kick it back and up into the air, bend into the knee. And we might as well just start making some circles here. So we're going to go down with the knee, and then out to the left and up. Down, so we're just doing open circles. I'm just doing the one direction. All right, and then now go ahead, step forward, find that warrior one position again. Drop your back heel, come up to warrior one, reaching up, take it out to warrior two, both arms extending out. Okay, go back to reverse warrior, breathe into it. All right, come into extended or into warrior two position again. The humble warriors now, taking the hands back behind you and clasping and pulling the shoulder blades down. Take an inhale, bow to the center, and try to keep stable through the legs. Arms reaching up. Keep the facial muscles relaxed here. Now, staying forward fold, just pull right into the left knee this time. My head is on the inside part of the left knee, and I'm tucking in. Arms are reaching. Go ahead and lift up. Arms are going to reach up to the sky, open to 2, and then come back into reverse warrior. So push, open to reverse a Trikonasana, and then into full Trikonasana. So just nice and slow. So find that transition there, middle, and then down. Hand comes down, then you find your ground, and you're reaching up through your right arm. So every inhale, just think of yourself expanding deeper into that hold. Every exhale, you're finding your ground. You're noticing your feet stick into your mat. Drawing the core in to keep stable through this center. Every inhale, arms expanding. Feel that slight twist in the body. That deep side opening on the right side. Breathing into it. Slowly releasing. You're coming up and into reverse Trikonasana. Again, inhale. And then exhale to warrior 2 position, bending into that front knee. And then into warrior 2, warrior 1. And then we're coming forward. So dropping the hands down to the floor, reaching and kicking up with that right leg now. So you're in a standing split to start, and then you're lifting up through the right arm eventually, and just playing around with your balance. Maybe play around with taking that hand up off the floor to try that one leg in half moon. See how long you can hold it. Feel your stabilizer muscles go crazy. Play around with looking in different directions, eventually try to looking up at the ceiling, looking up at your hand. If you're reaching, and you can go ahead and close it in. So you're in the standing split, and then you're stepping back. All right, so we're just kind of flossing back and forth in that half monkey split. So coming back into the half monkey split, flex your foot, and then forward into lunge. I'm inhaling, pulling back, and I'm exhaling, coming forward. So this next time you pull back into the monkey split, you can hold it and hold to whatever variation you want to try, whether it's the full or somewhere in between, half and full. You can do that. And just keep in mind that, of course, one side is going to feel different, more tighter, more flexible than the other, usually. So some people are blessed to have perfect symmetry, but generally it's going to be a little bit different. So just do what you can. Try to aim for symmetry, but don't necessarily push your body into the exact same position if it's not going to do that, because there's injuries at play, and there's different body imbalances. So just listen to your body is what I'm saying. Deep breathing as it gets more intense, as you're holding this position. So just a couple more breaths here, holding, still sticking out. And then we're going to release. So walking that back knee forward if you're in that fuller version, pulling that back heel. So lunging first here. Let's just take it up into a crescent lunge and stretch it out, and then bring it down to the foot, step back into plank pose, lower through. Oh, we're gonna lift up that leg. We're gonna go over to the wild thing position. So the left leg flew over to the right side. And we're going to the wild thing position on this side. So you're pushing down into the left foot, and that's gonna pop that hip up. My right shoulder now is acting more of the support here underneath me, and my top arm here is just kind of passively, a little bit passively reaching alongside my body to get that side body stretch. And then we're going to release. So let's take it over to the other side and lower. So to the up dog or cobra, and then come back into child's pose and just take a moment to rest. Knees wide, settle down. On your next inhale, we're gonna pop up, come up into the tabletop downward facing dog. Look forward, step or hop up to the hands. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale and fold. Inhale and rising on up, reaching up and bring it back to the heart. Okay, we're gonna go standing figure four here for standing balance pose. Starting by balancing on the left foot. So flex your right foot, place it on top of your left knee, and then you start sinking down. So you can, if you're facing a wall, you can kind of reach your hands up to the wall and just support yourself there if you feel like your balance is a little off. But I recommend just, the best way to do it is just keep practicing. So don't use the wall for an assist unless you want your goal is to hold this balance position or the stretch position for a long period of time. Just by holding it without any assist, falling, getting back into the position, your body learns that way. So best not to use any props at all and just let your body figure it out. So you can sink down as low as you want to. You can reach down to the floor as well. But don't reach down to the floor by straightening your leg. So if you're just gonna straighten your leg and just reach down to the floor like so, then that's it's not really gonna do too much for your glute. So we want to stretch the hip flexors and glute as best as we can. So we gotta keep this standing knee bent. So keep sinking down, keep the hips pulling way back, and the chest pulls down to the shin. So if you are down like this already, maybe you're down touching the floor, maybe you're off doing an arm balance pose, which I won't demonstrate tonight. Totally not ready for, but you can do whatever you like here. Holding this position is pretty intense with the knee bent, with that left knee bent. Keep holding it, sinking those hips way back, you guys. And then releasing. So come on out and shake it out. Whew. Going over to the other side. So balancing on your right foot and flexing your left foot, crossing it over. So again, here we go. Just letting your body get used to the position, pulling the knee out to the left, sinking the hips back. So imagine you're gonna sit back into a chair. Keep sinking through the right knee as well, lifting up through the chest. Breathing deep into it. Okay, a couple more breaths. Okay, and we're gonna start to release. Come on out and shake it it out. So we're gonna come back to the top part of the mat, sweep arms overhead, deep breath in, exhale, and bring it down, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, jump or step back, plank, chaturanga. Take it to up dog or cobra, and then come back to downward facing dog. All right, so come forward onto hands and knees into tabletop position. Lift your right leg back behind you and your left arm forward. Bring your right knee to the floor and then open your left arm to the left. Now reaching back and see if you can catch the top part of your right foot. So you can stay here if this feels like a really good stretch. Shoulder-wise, hip-wise, front body-wise, in total, then stay here. If you want to go a little bit further and challenge your balance, then you're kicking up into the hand. Try to keep pulling where your contact point with your hand and your foot. Try to make that go right above your back. So not off to the side, just straight up above your back. And try to keep strong through your right arm. So don't sink into your right shoulder, keep pushing down through your right hand so that you're keeping active. All right, so releasing out, and then releasing down. Switching sides, go to that bird dog, so left leg and your right arm. Bend into the left knee, bring the left knee to the floor, open up to the right with your right arm, reach around. You're grabbing the top part of the foot, inside part of the foot, maybe reaching down to the ankle, and maybe kicking it up, adding a little bit of activation to your pose. Staying strong through that left arm, left shoulder. All right, letting that go, and then come around, come down. Okay, now moving into the same side, holding onto the foot with your hands. So we're gonna reach back through the right leg, spin the left shin off to the left, open up so you're in that variation of side plank, then bend into your knee, right knee, and catch the top part of the foot, maybe the ankle. And then just go for openness. Try to pull the heel in towards your seat, roll the shoulder open, maybe looking up at the ceiling here. Think about pulling that right shoulder back or to the center of your spine as best you can. So really squeeze it back. Show you a variation of side plank pose, doing the same thing here. So you're in the side plank on that left side, and then holding on to the right foot, and you're squeezing. Okay, so there's your advanced variation. All right, letting that go. And then come around. So back to the hands and knees. If you've never done the advanced variation, just try the regular variation to start, and then you can pick it up to the advanced. So the left leg's gonna come back, the right shin off to the right. So finding that, and just kind of establishing that ground first, that feeling of the pose. So should feel like a dancer's pose on your side, essentially. So breathing here, and again, if this feels really strong, you feel like you want to take it up a notch, then you're going to go into the side plank variation. So the best way to do that is to get into the side plank first and then reach for it. So my hand, I just put my hand just in front of my shoulder for this side plank variation, and then I'm bending into my left knee and catching my foot. So, and then I'm trying to, as best I can, I'm pushing into the floor. Make sure you have a really good sticky mat. All right, releasing out and then coming around to tabletop position. So let's go to tabletop position. I'm just going to maybe face this way here. So in tabletop position, bring your right hand to the floor. Bring your left elbow just in line with your right hand. So my left hand is going to be in front of my right hand here. So left forearm on the floor, right hand on the floor, and then I'm going to lift my right leg up into the air in this tabletop, and then I'm going to tuck my left toes under, and then I'm just going to go ahead and push back and up. So I'm opening up that hip. I'm in a half dolphin, half down dog. Holding for 3, 2, 1. Releasing down. Switching the hand position. So left hand is going to be on the floor. Your right forearm is going to be on the floor with the right elbow in line with the left hand. Your left leg is going to kick back here. So just keep it up into the air. It's easier that way. Then your right toes tuck under, and then you got to push down into the forearm. So a lot of the weight is going to go into the right side. So the right forearm taking a lot of the weight, and that right leg. Letting that left side open, be free. Head dropping down. And push back through that left or through that right heel. And then go ahead and let that go. Come down, back to tabletop position, and then downward facing dog. Walk it out. Step your right foot forward, left knee down to the floor, and right our hands on the inside part of your right foot. So just holding the lizard lunge position here. Okay, and then we're going to just kind of lean a little bit to the left side here so that we're looking to the right. Now you can bring your right hand onto your knee. So I'm trying to sink through my left hip as best as I can. So really breathing deep into this stretch here, getting a little more open here now through the hips. From here, you can tuck your back toes under, and then we're just going to take it back gently to downward facing dog. Walk it out from there. And right away, step your left foot forward. So you can just step it right to the left edge of your mat here, aiming for that left side. Hands on the inside part of the foot. So holding that lizard lunge position, breathing. You can walk your back knee back to get more into that lateral split position, and then we're just going to untuck the back toes and just start leaning to the right. So think of that right hip dropping, and then I'm going to put my left hand on my left knee. it through the upper body, breathing deep. So if this feels like it's way too much, then you're just gonna keep the hand onto the floor. You may be propped up with blocks. Okay, this is a little more intense, of the intense version. And just holding that position, allowing your body to get a little more comfortable here, breath by breath. Make sure you're focused on that breath. Still breathing in through the nose. Maybe you're breathing out through the mouth here as it gets intense. Letting the facial muscles relax. Check in with the jaw. All right, and then slowly releasing. So bring the hand onto the floor, tuck your back toes under, gently lift up the hips, slide your foot back. Let's go to plank pose and then lower it down through chaturanga. Lift into up dog or cobra and then bring the belly onto the floor. Take the hands in front of you, sweep them back, clasp your hands behind your back and pull back through the arms and through the knuckles. You can lift your feet up off the floor if you would like to. Keep breathing. All right, releasing down. So release your clasp and just cactus your arms, swing one side of your head down to the floor. And then slowly press yourself up. So onto tabletop pose and then spin around. So what we're gonna do here, variation of a twist, we're going to take the right knee on the bottom, knees bent, the foot's back, and then the left knee is on top. So crossing your legs, almost like you're gonna go into Go Mukhasana position. But the left knee is going to be pointing straight up here. So the traditional twist, we hug the knee and then start spinning to the left side. We're gonna hug the knee, just give it a good old hug, and then we're going to start leaning down to the right. So keep pulling in that knee, give it a really good squeeze with all your arm strength here, and then the idea is to keep the knee pointing straight up without falling over, and also dropping the right shoulder down to the floor. So you're really trying to pull that that left knee in towards yourself. At the same time, you want to think of what that left hip is doing, and you want to think about pulling that left hip back down to the floor. So essentially you're pulling it up off the floor. You want to try and resist and bring it back down. So keep doing it, keep leaning down. So should feel a stretch in the glute muscle on that left side. Okay, and then releasing. So now we'll go into that traditional twist, twisting over to the left side. So hug the knee or take the elbow on the outside of that left knee, looking over the shoulder. And then releasing. From here, just bring the feet at hip distance apart with knees bent, and then just rock from side to side, shaking out in sitting windshield. Then switching sides. So the right knee is going to be on the left knee, is going to be on the bottom. The right knee is going to be pointing up to the top. Okay, so hugging the knee here, and then we'll start bringing it a little bit closer. So really try to hug as best as you can with your arm strength. So I'm just kind of wrapped around. Now we're leaning to the right side. Sorry, leaning to the left side. So trying to drop the left shoulder down to the floor, and you'll feel it as your shoulder gets closer and closer to the floor. And then again, you want to think about what's happening in this right hip and the glute muscle right now. So you want to think, even if you bring your right hand onto the hip and the hip crease and push with your hand or your thumb, push it down as you're pulling this way, pulling to the left side, you should feel a little bit more, you should feel it a little more intensely. But what we're doing is just with the arms and just with the weight of your upper body, we're pulling it down. And you're trying to resist as best you can, pulling the hip back down to the right. So adding a little bit of twist through that upper body as well. Just breathing as best you can. Okay, and then we're releasing from here. Bring yourself back up, right? And then twist to the right side. So left elbow's on the outside of the knee, or you can just continue hugging that knee, pulling the knee in close to your chest here. Looking over the shoulder, looking over your right shoulder with your head also tilted, just getting a little more stretch in through the neck. Lifting up nice and tall. Releasing out of that one. Okay, so back to those sitting windshield wipers, feet together, and just kind of leaning back into the hands, massaging the glutes out from side to side as you're doing this, back and forth at a moderate pace. So the next one we're going to do is a reclined hero's pose, a more heart opener, just before we get onto the ground completely and cool right down. If you have a yoga ball in your space as well, you can grab that. I'll show you all the different variations you can do for it. So starting with the beginner variation, say if you have a chair, I'm just going to put my chair in here, and I'm going to, you would have a blanket on your chair, you would have some blocks. So again, this is just the beginner variation. You're sitting on a couple blocks with the knees bent back, and then maybe you're just putting your elbows back onto the seat of the chair, and maybe you're dropping your head back. For a more intense version, get closer to the seat of the chair, and then let your shoulder blades should be just right at the edge of the seat of the chair. So bottom of the shoulder blades at the edge. So the top of the shoulder blades above, and space to go back. And then you can open up that way. You can grab onto the back of the chair. And again, you can make that more comfortable by just putting a blanket over the edge of the chair, because that could get a little more intense if it's just a wooden chair like mine. So again, we're going for a heart opener, and we're just opening the hip as well. So that is for beginner. If you do not want to use chair, or don't have a chair, but you have a yoga block around, you can do this version as well. So you have your blocks, you're sitting on your blocks, and again, you can sit on 2 blocks or 1 block. I'm just doing the 2 blocks to show you the pre-beginner version of it. So I'm butting my ball right up against my back, and then I'm going to lie back and do this. So that way my head is supported, my arms are extended out here. So this feels really good. I don't have a lot of flexion happening in my knee just because my hips are higher. You can also roll up a towel and place them underneath your knee if you feel like you're not getting enough circulation there. Keep your arms open and try and hold that position. For the easier version, for the harder version, you can use your bolster, no block, butting the bolster up against your seat. I have no, you can also put a block underneath your seat if you want to, and then you're laying back here for reclined hero's position, arms extended out. If you don't want to use any prop at all, then go ahead and don't use any prop and sit back into your thunderbolt position. You may need to bring the knees wider to get a little more comfortable in that position. So that is definitely the more advanced version, and you can try that out. So let's just remain here, picking your own progression as you would like. And we're just going to continue breathing. So wherever you are, bring your arms a little bit up, so closer towards your ears. And then as high as you can here, so that they're still as high as you can on the floor, so that you're still kind of touching the floor, or so that you don't have to bend your elbows. And then lower them back down so that they are a little bit lower. Your arms are a little bit lower than your shoulders. And just breathe into that space. One more time. Again, raise your arms. Try to get them as close alongside your ears as possible. Now we're just going to hold this position with the arms extended up. Breathing into the belly, breathing into the chest. And then use the long exhale and just let them float back down. Allow the arms just float right so that they're coming out from your shoulders this time, so that we're getting the chest. Heavy arms, heavy shoulders. Okay, take another deep breath in and out. Deep breath out, and then you can release. So just taking your time to come out of the pose. You can press yourself up straight from there. You can roll over to your side and come out that way. So move away any props that are going to be in your way, and we're just going to spin around so that we can come down onto the mat and roll onto the mat like a ball. So we're going to massage the back out. Grab onto the backs of the knees, tuck the chin under, inhale, roll back, and exhale, rock forward. If you don't want to do the full rocking right up to seated, you can do these mini rocks, just kind of onto your low back, pulling the knees in and out, or head onto the floor, pulling the knees in and extending them out, pulling them in and out. Okay, just do that if you're not with me here. So keep doing that. Do about 5 or 6 of those. And I come back onto your back with just the knees relaxed, open in happy baby pose. So you can grab onto the inner knees, inner shins, or inner or feet if you want to here. So now the head's resting on the floor, and you can relax or close the eyes here. So begin to settle the body down even more, coming closer and closer to stillness. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, grab onto the right knee with your hands, and the left leg go along the floor here, touching the ground. If that's too intense, then you can bend into your left knee, just keep it bent. But give your right knee a good squeeze in towards your chest. Breathe into that space. If possible, then you're actively reaching through that left leg, pushing out through the heel, just to make this pose a little more active. All right, so let go of that pull, and then we're going to take the right knee just above the hip and then cross it over to the left side. Reach your right arm straight out to the right, and then begin circling if you want to, so you can reach above your head. You can reach way over to the left side and do the open, close, shoulder stretches, which usually feel really good. Now circling around, go nice and slow. So really try to think of yourself as just kind of winding down and getting really lazy in that position. So with that laziness, just bringing more awareness, just noticing every angle and how every angle where your arm is reaching feels a little bit different, how it's affecting the stretch across your chest, in your shoulders, how it's feeling in your back. Just really bringing in that information and breathing into it. So just taking your time here, slowly releasing out of that twist. Give yourself a hug, bring both knees in. Release, head to the floor. Now hold on to just your left knee and let the right leg stretch away. So again, you can make this pose more active by pushing out through that right heel. You can make it less active by bending into the knee and just focusing on that low back, especially if the low back is lifting up while you're trying to keep that right leg straight. So that could mean that you are pretty tight in your hips and your hamstrings, and also maybe in your low back, but generally that's hips and hamstrings. Okay, now we're going to release, so that knee is going to be above your left hip, now guide it over to the right side. Reaching that left arm out to the left, and again, you can kind of do the circle around like I'm doing, just a slow over to the left, slowly kind of tracing a semicircle above your head. Allow your breath to guide your movement, so just nice and slow. Allow your arm to be mostly passive, mostly heavy, using as little amount of energy as possible to move your arm here. Taking your time here, releasing, come on back onto your back. Give yourself a squeeze, pull the knees in. Your head can draw in as well, rest on the floor. Give yourself lots of love and gratitude here. Deep breath into the spine. Alright, letting that go to windshield wipers. Now the feet down to the floor. Feet wide, bring your knees wide and stretch your arms out to a T position, and allow the knees to drop left and right, back and forth. Keeping the airways kind of open again, just following your breath, following your movement. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Feel your legs just kind of growing tired, growing more and more passive here with every movement. Feel your arms getting heavy as well. Same with, well, basically the whole top part of your body from the hips up here. Getting a little more settled, a little more grounded into the floor. So eventually just beginning to slow that movement down and then stretch out to Shavasana. So you can stretch out the legs here, bring the arms out to a T, or you can take them in. You can prop yourself up if you did have that block or some pillows near you, then go ahead and use them if you like. If that's going to be more comfortable for you, you can put them underneath your knees, and that usually feels good for the low back to just have just pull back into the floor. It allows your tailbone to tuck under a little bit more. But otherwise, if you're feeling just ready for it, then letting the arms open, letting the feet open to the sides, and begin focusing on your breath. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, expanding the lungs, expanding the belly, right up to the very top, and then taking a long exhale out. Slowly watching the air move out of the lungs, completely emptying the belly, just like deflating a balloon, and then repeat again. Your body fills up, expanding. Feel the sides of your body expand, feel your back expand with air, and then watching the air release. Noticing your body sinking and relaxing on that exhale. And then just begin to pay attention to that here as we try and get more settled. So every exhale you take from now on, see if you can relax a little bit deeper into the mat. Letting your heels sink in. Calf muscles, backs of legs, releasing your knees. As you inhale, feel space around your hips. As you exhale, relaxing your hips, relaxing your glutes, grounding into the mat. Exhaling and letting your spine sink deeper into the floor. Mid-back, upper back, shoulder blades all resting. As you inhale, feel your shoulders broaden. As you exhale, feel your shoulders pull down and the backs of your arms also pull down with them. Letting the backs of the hands completely rest on the floor, on your mat, on the earth. As you inhale, feel your chest expand, feel it open. As you exhale, feel the back of the neck and sides of the neck let go. Let go of the weight of the head, fully supported by the mat. Allowing yourself to feel space and openness across the top of your head, the forehead. Letting all the muscles around your eyes relax, allowing your eyelids to be heavy. Relax throughout your facial muscles, through the jaw, and even the tongue and the mouth. Begin to soften your throat, collarbones, chest. Releasing through the abdomen and belly. continue observing your chest and belly rising, falling through every breath you take. As passive observer, just watching, allowing your breath to take over, allowing your body to rest. Slowly begin to bring the attention back to your breath. Paying attention to your belly and taking some belly breaths. So feeling your belly expand on your inhale, rising. And releasing. Feeling your low back draw into the floor on that exhale. Allow that breath to keep expanding out, noticing expansion through the sides of your body, the rib cage expanding out to the sides and drawing in on the exhale. So just gradually moving here through the fingers, through the toes, through the feet and arms. Here as you breathe yourself awake. Breathing a little more energy into the body, here for yourself to carry on through the rest of your night or the rest of your day, depending on when you are doing this practice. Windshield wipers, morning stretch or yawning. Rolling or rocking now over to your right side. And making your way up to seated, or just continue on your meditation journey, your Shavasana journey. Namaste, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. And yeah, have a great evening, everyone. Check out Wednesday's class. It's going to be HIIT Core Yoga this week, as usual. And yeah, leave a comment below if you have something cool to say, if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see in a class. I like suggestions. Like this video if you like it, and share it if you love it, and check out YouTube videos from this Facebook page. They're just put on YouTube. If you're not a Facebooker, then do that. Otherwise, check out all the archived videos. If you want to do yoga every day, you totally could, because there's lots of videos now, and as many Vinyasa flow videos as you like, as many HIIT classes as you like. You could probably do one every day in a month or something. There's lots. Anyways, yeah, have a good night, guys, and I'll see you next week for Vinyasa Flow Yoga, or I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye!